You're
Okie dokie, we struck the pose. Welcome everybody. Well,
never tell me when I've got to stop with this bloody pose.
now I like it when you do it. I love it. So I'm not going to tell
See
you
if
not.
I've stopped.
Are those really your hands, Terry?
Are those what?
Were those really your hands? I'm very impressed.
No, they belong to. Yeah, whose hands were they, you loon? Oh, you get out! Big oh. What do you mean are they really my hands? No, I lent them out on a Monday morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, keep them till Wednesday evening. Comes in
right.
handy beginning of the week.
Oh, ba-bum. Thank you very much.
Ouch. Right. Welcome, viewer, to audits number 4 off-duty driving instructor trainers. Subject today is subject to change. That didn't work very well. Can I remind you that Terry's going to swear and there's going to be adult.
You've got to say that every time. Fucking hell.
Well, Ian and I don't. We're bloody brilliant. So, subject to change. Right, who am I going to bully first out of you two? Ian, haven't bullied you first for ages, I think. Or was it last time?
Here last time.
Possibly.
Right, subject to change, what's it mean to you, Ian?
That, what you've just said, means a couple of things. Works on a couple of levels. For me, subject to change means the plan you start with isn't what you deliver necessarily. And subjects get in the way of good training, I think.
Interesting. We shall explore.
Ooh.
Terry,
Yes.
same question.
Well, I can't really say anything different to what Ian said. I think Ian put it perfectly.
He did.
I can't add anything to that as a beginning.
No, I can't.
No,
So,
Ian's too good.
subject to change. I was
Me happy dance.
it was particularly happy. I like that one. I was sad enough to have a look at the definition of the word subject, which was quite interesting. And of course, the first thing that struck me, apart from Ian's flailing arms,
It's called dancing. Hello.
Thank you, Terry.
subject, a branch of knowledge studied. Yeah,
Oh.
a branch of knowledge.
Okay.
So, and that's why subjects don't work. What subject are we gonna? Because a lot of people say, we need a subject for our session today when they're out in the car.
May I speak, miss?
Nope.
There's my hand. Okay.
Is it your hand, Ian, or is it?
It's somebody else's. They just keep wafting in and trying to drag me off the screen.
They went very quickly from Terry's to yours. That's
Tell the constable to give you half an hour.
I will. I'll ask him nicely. Keeps jangling the cuffs if you can hear them. I'm sorry. I was just going to say.
Stop jangling your cuffs and get on with it.
Okay. I was just going to say a tree can survive without a branch and still be a tree.
That's even more clever.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's really quite good, wasn't it?
We know what's happened to Buddha. He's among us.
Hang on.
He's grown a beard. Adult gestures. Adult language, adult humour, and adult gestures. I forgot to say.
Dalai Lama. We know where Dalai Lama is. He's not in exile. He's up north.
Morph. I'll accept morph. A big blobber plasticine rolling about on a table.
I've got to do anything.
Morph?
Morph.
You
From
must be
Dalai
old
Lama, you
enough to
went to
remember
Morph.
Morph from Tony Hart and
Oh,
Aye.
the Clear Person.
But
yeah.
why has that got to do with the
I
Dalai
thought you said
Lama?
Morph.
No, I said that we know where the Dalai Lama is.
I thought you said Morph.
How does Dalai Lama sound
I'm
anything
hearing
like Morph?
things. Sorry, I'm hallucinating with my ears. Can we get on with the subject? Otherwise,
I
people will be
I
thinking
went
off
with you, Ian. So I was totally with you with the morph thing. Yes, I
Really?
do like morph. Yeah. And through the trapdoor. Bit later.
Oh. Mm.
Stay away from that.
Trapdoor.
Meanwhile, back at the farm.
Mm.
Has it got llamas on it?
You and the bloody llamas.
Right.
There used to be a cafe called the Llama Pajama Cafe, just off the A66 at Penrith. I don't know if it's still there or not. I'm not advertising, I'm honest.
So,
Other motorway cafes are available, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
right. A branch of knowledge studied, however, a tree can survive without a branch.
Said Morph.
And Indy. Oh no, that was a different thing. Nanu, nanu. Anyway. Why did we choose this? Why did we choose this as a topic subject?
Oh, I think that's a question for Terry.
Yeah, I think so, because he said it and he came up with the title too.
Well, the main reason was I've got a workshop on it. I mentioned that.
Subtle? Subtle.
Yeah. Tell you what.
Very subtle.
Yeah, I've got a workshop
No.
on it. Keep an eye on the Facebook stuff and your emails. You might have a bit of advertising there. So I think it's just one of the biggest things. One of the most common themes on the PDI groups and some ADI groups about Part 3 and Standard Check. I'm doing roundabouts I'm planning roundabouts for my Part 3 next week, or tomorrow.
Or any tips?
Any tips? Or I'm doing pedestrian crossings, any tips? Or I'm doing awareness and planning, any tips?
Mirrors. Mirrors is name.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of the biggest most misunderstood, one of the most misunderstood things about how learning takes place.
Yeah. So what have we done differently apart from designing a workshop around it and doing
You've got a workshop on it.
I haven't got a
workshop. Is there a workshop on it?
There might.
No.
You might put the
Ooh.
link in the thread.
I haven't got a date yet, Fiona. So I haven't got a date for it yet. Shh, no date. I can't put a link in the thread. There's no date for it yet.
Should we
Should we bully into me making a date?
So when people struggle with dates and promoting things on Facebook, who should we call?
No.
Sarah, the private VA, Sarah.
Oh yeah, the private VA, Sarah. Yeah.
So Sarah, so when you're as lame as Terry, and in fact, you don't be as lame as Terry, be better. Do yourself a favor. If you need a bit of help with social media, then it's worth booking and having a chat with Sarah. Private VA, we can put her in the link as well. No, I forgot the question I was asking.
You said something about a workshop coming up in November.
Well, one of mine. Oh, thanks.
You have one as well.
No, subject. So when people say roundabouts, our beef is, Ian, so what have we noticed about people talking about the subject being roundabouts?
Well, I think they're over planning because I read somewhere a quote from someone. That's good, isn't it? That's really helpful. That goes something like, I think it was a general who said most plans for war don't survive the first shot. And I think most lesson plans don't survive the first rotation of the wheels.
I've read that quote, Ian.
I think it's from some general,
Yeah,
long
there's
time
not-
ago.
Wow.
That's going to bug me now.
I think, you know, you've got to be on it from the start, and you've got to be recognizing what the pupil actually needs from you. And it doesn't really matter what we're approaching, what we're dealing with. We do the same actions. So does the subject really matter in a lesson? Yeah, we've got to check knowledge and stuff, but
Well, sometimes people fall into the illusion that they need to plan it some weeks before.
well, how can you meet the individual needs on the day at that point?
Exactly. Well, this is why we struggle with it from that extent. But lots of people feel the need to prepare for that certain part 3 standards check, whatever it is. A lot of people have that stress and the pressure of it, and they do feel like they want to plan it. I couldn't. It would need to be, and it would probably change the hour before, which is what you're saying.
It could change as soon as the car starts moving towards the exit of the test centre.
Well, that's why they've got a whole section on it, isn't it? It's about, one of those things.
Yeah.
Terry, got any thought?
Yeah. Any singular again? Perfect.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to what we were talking about on one of the previous episodes about the silly bus. The silly bus being people's idea of the silly bus being the driving test report. What can I teach on the driving test report today to get them ready to pass that test?
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. You teach what your pupil needs to know.
Yeah, I understand that, and we know we'll do that, and we know that. But if you're, let's say your training may have taught you how to teach subjects, and that's what you're comfortable with, then that's what you're going to go for, because that's what you think, and it's not their fault, but that's what you think your job is, to teach people subjects. Right, let's work on junctions today, because it says it in the test sheet.
Well, it's a throwback to another subject we've kind of murdered with our own unique take on it, which was the PSTs.
Yeah.
You know, although it was subject based, the assessment was about your skills as an instructor, but those skills were narrowly focused on that subject area. I think it's the narrow focus that I don't like.
Yeah, because people say what they're going to do so far ahead, and if a driver needs to know how to do something, they need to know it now, not conveniently for someone's part 3 or a standards check. That I feel uncomfortable with that. That length of time, where what happens then?
Well,
because there are gaps.
Yeah. And I think, the areas I work in, I can think of a small town that has 4 roundabouts, and 2 of them are on the bypass to get to the town. And there's a test centre there.
No.
So if you want to teach roundabouts, you're a bit knackered.
Yeah.
Wow. I just think we teach people.
Yeah.
We don't teach subjects, we teach people. I know that's probably bad English somewhere.
Not you? No.
Why? I mean, in all honesty, how could you teach one subject during a driver training session?
It's a very
This
good
is a
question.
6-hour
that I don't know
session.
the answer to.
Well, no, but I just think but if it's just a whole bunch of learning, it's a whole bunch of subjects, isn't it? And you can just do the focus on a different thing within a branch.
Ooh,
A twiglet.
continuity. I like that.
I brung it back.
You did bring it back.
I brung it. So, if you are studying the branch, then where are the twigs and the twiglets?
Oh yeah. I think it's important that you know as much as you can about the branch. Oh, I'm talking like a southerner now. Branch. You need to know your stuff about what the branch is made of.
We do, absolutely.
Yeah, we do, and we need to know what the pupil, and then we can identify what might help them. But it's not about the shape of the branch, or it's about how the person walks along the branch, to go with the analogy, to make it even stranger for everybody. Make sure they don't slip off it.
If you do a painting by numbers, can you put it down for a while and come back and add to it? You don't have to paint the whole branch at one sitting.
Hey, we're
I
on
like that
fire
one, Fiona.
today. We're on fire today.
No,
Tell you what.
No pressure, but it's your turn now, Terry.
but it's true. So roundabouts,
Yeah.
roundabouts. It's a whole bunch of little mini twiglets in a whole.
Yeah, but isn't that true of everything?
The whole thing, the whole subject of learning to drive. Yes.
There's a school of thought that goes, you only teach two things as a driving instructor.
How not to die and how to pay me.
Well, how to go backwards safely and accurately, and how to deal with in front of you.
I'm glad I warned about the language and the gist. Oh, smug mode. Yeah, come on, Terry. I think you've been quiet for ages.
Well, I'm a very quiet person generally, Fiona. I always bring it back to PDIs and ADIs that come for training when we talk about this kind of stuff. I always bring it back to that old saying, the one that we all use.
What the?
The how do you eat an elephant?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, you don't eat the whole elephant at once because you never manage it. And so you just one mouthful, one bite at a time. And then over time, you'll have the whole elephant, you have the whole picture. And then
As
you
if
just
you're
build
eating
it
the
up.
elephant by numbers.
Aye. Oh, my, it's just like you're bringing everything back and like tying everything in. It's like, oh my God, it's like a pro.
I might leave a couple of bits of the elephant if it's okay with you. That I don't feel like I ever need to eat.
You don't do ears, no?
Or nor the ear holes.
It's all right if you knock the wax out first. I should have waited until you took a mouthful there for that one.
No one can see the link there? Take a
Well,
mouthful? No? Okay, I'll leave that one then. I'll leave that one.
that's a big
more
bite
than
of
a
elephant,
mouthful.
isn't it?
I would have thought a little bit more than a mouthful with an elephant.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Well, I don't know what you two are talking about.
Mhm.
Well, I'm vegetarian, so what's the vegetarian equivalent? Could it be a tree?
It could be.
One twig at a time.
Or am I barking up the wrong
The wrong elephant.
elephant? Although they do have a trunk.
So we're coming back to roads now.
I'm even blushing. That was so bad.
He's on form today.
Right.
I just think that knowing how learning takes place, I think a lesson 1 hour, 2 hours doesn't matter. With little goals each time is much more effective than trying to do the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
Because if you do the whole thing at once, it's unlikely you're going to be successful at any of them. So the
Totally.
person gets out of the car and goes, "Oh, I'm still crap at roundabouts," for instance, because
Do
nothing
they,
will get got better today.
here's a controversial one.
Ooh.
Do they even need to know what the subject is?
Ooh. That's going to blow people's minds, Fiona.
I mean, I know you've done it, but when you just ask somebody to focus on one thing, I've done it with PDIs and miniminas and new drivers and all the rest of it. You just ask them to focus on one thing in particular, and then they need to remember on focusing it so they can give you some feedback or tell you what they noticed or whatever. But you don't actually need to know. They don't need to know, as long as they're open to not knowing what the subject is. You just give them a task. So there is no structured subject as such, but then it's whatever comes out. It does work.
Mm.
That would be a great way of learning
It would,
effectively.
yeah. Well, it's evidence-based as well, because you're asking them to look for evidence, which is a phrase I like to use for some reason. Evidence-based learning seems to be something that it just, if you hand them a means to find the evidence for themselves, then when they find their evidence, the learning is easier because
Yeah.
it's done. And it's no, there's no difficulty in it. There's no practice. Because I've already done it.
That's linked to responsibilities, isn't it? You're giving them the you're managing the responsibility they're taking so they can learn about that specific thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the example I'm thinking of, because it may be I need to use an example so people know what I mean, because I know you two do. But one time I got in the car, I said, "Will you just do a thing for me, please?" She said, "Yes," because she knew me really well. So she said, "What's the thing?" So I said, "Can you drive along, please, and tell me where all the letterboxes are? The little ones, the big ones, you know." She said, "I don't get it, but yeah." So we drove along. I said, "Don't want you to stop, although I do actually have a letter I need to post." I remember that bit. But I suppose it was why that came out into my head in the first place. So she said, "They're here, there, there." And then after 10 minutes or so, she said to me, "I've got it. I got it. I know why you're doing this to me." And I said, "Oh, yeah." She said, "Yeah, because last week I didn't see the pedestrians milling about near to the crossing. And then you had to ask me to stop. And you're asking me to look further back from the tunnel vision down the road." So do you see what I mean? And it's the evidence. So if you ask somebody to do something, but I didn't discuss it as a subject. I just said, do you see what I mean? So no one needs to know it. And I didn't know if it was going to work. But it's...
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did.
What would you have done if it didn't work?
Yeah, I did know it was going to work. Sorry?
What would you have done if it didn't work?
I would have asked the question, why do you think I've done that? And where are you looking? So I would have just gone through it with the questioning.
Yeah, I had a thought there and it went out of my head as soon as I spoke.
Don't worry, Homer. It'll come back.
Do you want a minute, love? Oh, good.
Sorry. No, it hasn't come back. No.
Actually, Fiona,
Yeah.
your little exercise you did with this lady reminds me of another workshop I have coming up in November about the games people play.
It was a workshop. I was going to do that one, but you
Oh,
did.
was it?
It was.
You can do it too.
Well, we'd all do it differently. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
No, I was going to do that one. But it's like I said, it's that evidence-based thing. Now I've got my other. I've just got to get the slides done. I've got my new one coming up. Rather than the tedious, boring ones. I have another thing.
Easy.
Yeah, another
Carry on.
definition along the lines of subject.
Go on in.
I found this quite horrific, actually. If you use the word subject, but then you put subjected to, and it means forced or caused someone to undergo something unpleasant.
Oh,
Like Strictly, you mean?
Watching that, absolutely. I must be the only person. Do you not like Strictly?
I hate any TV we got to vote. Or someone's got to vote. That's me head in.
Because it's an opinion thing. But I can't. I don't like Strictly. Now, our viewer will switch off now that you've said that. Ian,
yes.
were you planning on going on Strictly next year?
No, but
Oh, you'd be great on Strictly, Ian.
well, yeah. Obviously, I had the comedy value. Yes, absolutely, 100%, 100%. But the only thing I really regret, and you best put this down because you could splurge when I tell you this, is I want to tap dance like Fred Astaire, and I never did anything about it.
It's never too late.
Oh, it is when you're built like me.
You
It'll
know
be
what?
the elephant with his feet again.
It would just be really loud tapping.
It wouldn't be tapping, it'd be stomping.
You know what I remember, Mr. Lavelle?
What are
We
you?
we were delivering online together, and we were doing a coaching conversation example. And I was the coach, and he was the coachee, and he wanted to learn to improve tap dancing. That's what his subject was, and I just couldn't stop laughing. Just a picture of Ian tap dancing. And it was the worst coaching conversation ever.
I thought this was a supportive group of friends.
Yeah. Yeah. No, sometimes honesty is not a good ploy.
Well, it depends how you deliver it.
So, in a nutshell, on that note, don't subject your people to some things.
What you did there, Terry.
Don't subject people to things in a car because it's something we want to do. Because I think that's often the case. It's just easy. In terms of subjects and topics, going back to, you can do a whole bunch of subjects and topics in any session, however long it is. And even if the something that seems to be the main focus of a session, but you can get them to concentrate on something else on the way there, can't you? If it's a specific, junction or a something or a town with some roundabouts in it, focus on something else on the way there. So loads of subjects. So subject to change. Don't subject.
I just used to enjoy it when end of the session, what's gone well today? Oh, well, I sorted out my areas and I sorted out my signal time. I was top of the head, sorted out my signal timings, and I'm much more confident with being there now, and that was really good and that's just the little twiglets we were doing.
Yeah.
Where traditionally you go, how was that today? And it's like, well, still not very good at pedestrian crossings. I've missed that person there. And I think that's the main difference between teaching subjects and teaching tiny little small goals. It's they can see the learning happening much clearer.
Yeah. What I like it also on those notes is when you ask those kind of questions at the end and they say something like, and I noticed my seating position. I was sitting much more relaxed, and I noticed, when they notice those other things that you wouldn't necessarily think of asking because you've got no idea of what driving feels like to them. And then when they say, my hands were so much more relaxed and those sort of things, and it's, it gives you a little bit of a grin, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So rather than it just being totally about what's going on, I just dropped my mouse.
Is that euphemism? Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
Right. So nothing's come up from this one for the next, unless it would be the games. However,
Well, there's a whole workshop then come on for games if they want. November. Keep an eye on my Facebook posts. What?
you need to help out. You need to have your own workshops. Has he got any coming?
What?
Got any coming, Ian?
Me.
Ian.
Me.
Yes.
Me.
Yes.
Workshops. I have a secret one for my team.
But if it's secret,
not anymore. Go boy era.
Does anyone want to be part of the team? I do now because it's secret. So if anything's secret, you want to know it.
We'll think on next one.
And we'll put it out.
At some point, yeah. Deal.
So just a bit of a summary of this one. Bit of a summary is Terry wants you to book his workshops. Everyone.
As many as you can, as often as you can.
Go back multiple times.
Not that you'd need to, but Terry needs you to.
You can't eat the whole of a tree in one sitting.
Carry on.
Please do. You're in a hole. Keep digging.
Yeah. Don't subject your drivers to something unpleasant. I had to read it then.
We couldn't tell.
Yeah, very up. Try not to plan too much ahead for anything. Just be aware it could be this, this, and this, and try and, very much just, it might be worth actually for someone part 3 or to constantly keep changing on approach to, because then you'll be used to changing it if you need to during a standards check or a part 3. Because then changing will be a normal thing for you to do. It won't be a stress or a pressure or a, how do I know if I need to change what do you call it? That thing, risk management thing about ignoring the fact that they really need to work on something else. So subject to change, be prepared to change, be yourselves as well. Any thoughts, either of you?
What's that, been half an hour? No, that's it, I think.
I think that was actually more entertaining than the last one, personally.
All right, leave it.
Right. The pose needs to be struck. Ready?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I can't do it. I have to.